What is cracking with you, YouTube? Now let's get into this horse shit. It's your man King Howie. Usually on this channel, we talk about the greatest football team in sports history, the Green Bay Packers. But we're not going to do that today. Today we're going to talk about the NBA and what's transpiring with the restart of the season. Now, Friday, big time meeting. They say it was over 200 players that were on this phone call, excluding Lebron James. He wasn't in on the phone call. The spearhead to leading this meeting was Kyrie Irving. He is not for the NBA restarting the season. A lot of Kyrie's issues with restarting the league stems from Steven Jackson and the death of his friend George Floyd by the Minneapolis Police Department. Rest in peace to George Floyd. Yeah, so Kyrie has been in talks with Steven Jackson, and Steven Jackson has put it in Kyrie Irving's ear that the players of the NBA need to stand behind him. Now, I have a problem with this. When Tamir Rice got killed, when Trayvon Martin got killed, when Gardner got killed, where was Kyrie Irving and Steven Jackson for those deaths, those victims to police brutality? Why didn't y'all try to stop the NBA from resuming play then? Now y'all want to do it because of the pandemic shutting down the NBA, the unfortunate death of George Floyd, and inequalities and injustices towards black people. Now y'all want to shut down the NBA because y'all want corporate sponsors to get involved behind the movement. During the call, it was a lot of players, like I told y'all, that had concerns not only with, you know, the protesting and rioting and everybody marching. A lot of the players have a problem with the COVID issue, being in this bubble in Florida. Disneyland is going to be open. They have limitations and restrictions. The families can't come out there until like a month, or what they honking their horn for, bro? You're not in the turning lane, dog. Yeah, you need to get over there. But yeah, the limitations, restrictions, can they leave the bubble? And if they can leave, is there a curfew? Is there so many hours they can be out of the bubble? The testing, the hotel room accommodations, all of that. Where's the family gonna stay? Just a lot of questions that, you know, the 200 or so players that was in this meeting had. Not only that, the NBA already cut their salaries. Kyrie is not even going to be playing. So I don't even understand why the hell Kyrie is trying to do this. Is he trying to sabotage LeBron James from getting a ring? They already said if some players don't want to play, they can stay at home, but you're not going to get paid. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give each team that's in the tournament 17 roster spots so they could bring in either one or two more players on the team, just in case those players don't want to participate with the pandemic going down, or for those players that want to go out there and protest. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. The NBA has already lost revenue from the China incident, and if Kyrie and his unnecessary revolutionary tactics Not knowing that the NBA has used their platform before for black people. Remember I Can't Breathe? Remember the Donald Sterling situation when the Clippers all came out there and had their jerseys on inside out, not supporting the Clipper brand? Remember that? Now you got Lou Williams, some players on the Clippers that said that they don't really want to participate right now, and ain't the time. We need to be out there protesting. Y'all talking about being away from y'all families, but y'all out there protesting with COVID-19 floating around, not knowing that you putting your family in danger anyway. What, Russell Westbrook? You have Carmelo, who's at the end of his career, speaking out. Carmelo, nobody give a damn if you don't want to play or not. I don't care if Carmelo's out there or not. You have a couple of Laker players, Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley, allegedly, who said that they want to go out there and protest. Right now ain't the time for the NBA. Yes, it is time for the NBA. Y'all want to get paid or y'all don't? Y'all got in the NBA to change y'all lives and get y'all families out of poverty, right? So now y'all want to stop playing basketball because of George Floyd. Now that it is hit home in somebody's backyard that y'all well respect, like Steven Jackson, now y'all don't want to start the season back up. Not knowing that y'all could put y'all careers in jeopardy by doing this. The NBA has already cut their salaries. The NBA is saying that if there is a short season next year, and that, or if there isn't a season next year, because they could just opt out of the agreement, the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association have agreed. The Players Union and the owners have agreed there that they're going to opt out after the 2022-2023 season. Or they could just rip it up now, because if these guys let Kyrie Irving spearhead this whole thing with Steven Jackson's, and now Steven Jackson and LeBron James got beef. Just a week ago, Steven Jackson made a video. Yeah, man, I talked to Bron, man. Bron a real one. He a real one. And now that LeBron is trying to play basketball and do his protest through using the NBA as the platform to get his message across, now Steven Jackson is like, nah, man, damn the basketball. Nah, this is bigger than basketball. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. All love is love. Love is all love. Man, shut the fuck up. I want the NBA back. There's a lot of people out here who want sports back. Me personally, I want the fucking NBA back. Kyrie, you not even playing. You hurt, remember? You're not even playing. Are you doing this to sabotage LeBron James? Now, we already know LeBron James is chasing the ring. That's not even nothing to talk about. We already know LeBron James want to play bad as fuck. We already know that. So LeBron James ain't talking about stopping the season. He wants the season to resume. It's bigger than basketball. Man, you trying to... Man, some of these dudes just got in the league. Some of these young cats just got in the NBA, man. You trying to fuck their career up? That's not fair. That's not fair, Kyrie. That's not fair, Steven Jackson. Shout out to Austin Rivers for speaking up against Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? I know why LeBron James wasn't in on that meeting. I know why he wasn't in on that meeting, because when they passed the vote the first fucking time, some players weren't included. A lot of players weren't included. James Harden wasn't included. A lot of players wasn't in on that call. It was only the main superstars. LeBron James, CP3, just the guys that was over the top players over the National Basketball Players Association. They were the ones that said, okay, we're going to resume the season. Now we have these guys that's not healthy enough to play the game of basketball putting their input stepping in, trying to stop the season from starting because you have an agenda of not seeing LeBron James get another championship ring. That is just my opinion. That's what I think. That's what I think. Who knows? Maybe Kyrie's intentions are real. You know, let's not forget what kind of guy we talking about. We talking about a guy who didn't want to get surgery when he was playing with the Cavaliers and asked to be traded because his situation with LeBron James at the time. Then this guy gets traded to the Celtics and he has a hard time with the team. I mean, you had Brown speaking out about him. Marcus Smart like, dude, we have to get this dude space because we didn't know what kind of mood he was going to be in each day. Yeah, Jason Tatum, man, whatever Kyrie was going through, that's what he had to go through. You know what I'm saying? I can't really, you know what I'm saying, speak on what that man was going through, so that's for him to answer. Like, dude, then you get traded to the Nets to team up with KD, and you starting shit over there. You got the coach fired. Spencer Dinwiddie don't want to play with you. Karis LeVert is like, I want to be traded. I don't want to play with this guy. You talking about the earth is flat? Didn't Steven Jackson clown you by talking about the earth was flat? You went out there and you protested with the Indians. When you did that in Boston, I knew you was out of there. I knew you was out of there. I was like, oh, he teaming up with the Indians in Boston? Oh, Kyrie is out of there. I just knew he wasn't going to last with the Celtics after he did that. There's just too much racism in Boston. Too much racism for Kyrie to step up and try to shut the NBA down. But now he want to do it. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. The NBA is already saying that if these guys don't play, or if they cancel the season next year, they cancel this season and they cancel next year's season, that the NBA is going to ask them for 25% of the revenue back from the players. And the players ain't going to like that because right now everything is 50-50. And I think it's only, they already took a pay cut already because of COVID-19 and, you know, being in quarantine. And that's another thing. What does the NBA expect these? Why did, you know, the NBA should have been smart about this whole bubble situation. You're talking to some guys who've been locked up in their house on quarantine for damn near 3 months. You've had Rudy Gobert touch on some reporter mics and go in the locker room and infect other players. You had Kevin Durant get infected. You had Stephen Curry get infected. You had a couple of players on the Lakers team get infected. You had Karl Anthony Towns' mother die from COVID-19. So you can understand why the players are a little skeptical about being in this bubble. You know what I'm saying? They've been on quarantine for 3 months. So I don't expect any of these players to want to just sit in a bubble for 2 more months and to really put things in perspective. A lot of these teams not even going to last long enough to even be in a bubble for 2 months. Once you get eliminated from the playoffs or you don't make it into the tournament, you're pretty much back at home anyway, you know? But you do have some guys who's ready to play. You have Kawhi Leonard, who hasn't said nothing because he's ready to play. Stephen Curry wants the season to resume. He know he ain't going to be in it. And I think it's only like after they cut a portion of the players' salaries due to COVID-19, they saying if the season is kind of fickle for next year, that they're going to take another 25% revenue from the players. The NBA is saying that they could lose up to $1.2 billion in revenue. That's not even including the money from China. So Kyrie and Steven Jackson, I feel y'all pain. I understand where y'all coming from. But this makes no sense at all to be trying to stop the NBA from resuming. You can use the NBA's platform for social change. stopping the NBA and stopping the players from playing basketball, that doesn't accomplish anything. That doesn't accomplish anything. You shut the league down, get tied into a lockout, then what? Then what? What about those young players? What about them? What about them? They not making millions and millions of dollars. There's only 9 players in the league that's only gonna get fully compensated for their contracts, and they all on Clutch Sports with LeBron James. Go figure that out. Now, some people really want to know why LeBron James wasn't in the meeting. Why should he be in the meeting when the NBA already voted for the league to start July 30th? The NBA has already said, if you don't want to play, don't play. You're just not going to get paid. We respect your move. You could go and protest. If you don't want to play, just go protest. But don't make this unfair for those teams that have played their heart out this season to try to be in the top seeds that they were in to win, and then you come in here and just say, oh no, just because of the death of George Floyd, we don't want to play. That makes no fucking sense at all. That, like I keep saying, man, this police brutality shit is a state, local, city issue. You want change in the police department? You have to go to the city council board meetings. You have to talk to your state legislator. You have to do your census. The NBA can't come in and just knock on state departments' doors and say, oh, we need change. No, it has to be policy and legislation written out. Reform. That's what I hate about putting celebrities in positions that they don't know nothing about, have no business of being a part of. Now I understand black community, black culture, you know what I mean? Y'all out there protesting. I'm all for that. But let's not shut down sports when this is a community problem. This is not a sports issue. This is a community issue. I get it. Star athletes, some of them want to speak out. I mean, LeBron James is already doing starting a voting rights group to make sure that, you know, minorities' votes count this election. He's doing that on the side. He's not stopping the NBA to be on board with reform or for voting. If y'all wanted to shut down the NBA because of a death due to police brutality, y'all should have did this a long time ago. Why do it now? Why? Because of Steven Jackson's influence on the culture of the NBA, the NBA guys. He's friends with them. And I see what you're doing, Steven Jackson. You know what I'm saying? More power to you, brother. I understand George Floyd, you knew him and all that. You grew up with him. I understand all that. But bro, don't go on social media talking about they need to shut the NBA down. They don't need to shut the NBA down. We need sports back. Now there's still concerns going on, just not over the Black Lives Matter protest movement, but COVID concerns. You know, you got spikes going up in Florida. You got spikes going up down in the southern states. You know, Houston. Now that the country is reopening, which is supposed to be expected to happen anyway whenever you reopen the country to a virus that they really haven't tamed yet, don't have a vaccine for, no type of medical protocol. But I feel guys like Patrick Beverley, you know, who said earlier prior to the NBA discussions of restarting the season, resuming the season, that the NBA really wasn't telling them anything. And the reason why the NBA wasn't really able to let the players know what was going on is because the people that the NBA were talking to didn't know what was going on. You know, they trying to find a site. They find one in Florida. I thought they was going to use 2 sites, but that probably would have cost too much money. And of course, it makes sense for it to be in Florida at Disney World next to ESPN headquarters, because ESPN had bought all those damn games to be played on ESPN, and you know, they got cut short. So might as well just play. Just play. Now, I, for one, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Laker fan and I want to see my team win. I want to see my teams win every year. Now, people might say I'm kind of biased because of that, but in all actuality, you know, this could really hurt the NBA. Like, people don't understand how much damage this Kyrie, Irving, and Steven Jackson spearhead for the Black Lives Matter movement, which I'm gonna just flat out say I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with the Black Lives Matters movement at all because of who runs the Black Lives Matters movement. You know, those 3 women, their motives are for something other than Black lives. Trust and believe that. Those 3 black women that run the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, they're pushing a different agenda than just George Floyd. I'm gonna just tell you that straight out. That's why you gotta read, my brothers. You gotta read. So if this happens, this can potentially hurt the NBA very, very bad. And knowing that this is the game that majority of these players say, you know, basketball is my first love. You know, man, when I first picked up basketball, I fell in love with the game. You know, the game meant so much to me at a young age, and it's carried over now that I'm in my adult years playing in the league. You know, it's just, man, y'all talk all that shit about how y'all love the game so much. This is bigger than basketball. This is way bigger than basketball. And we've seen that. We've seen that from the people that are protesting out there. But there is no need to shut down the NBA because people are protesting. You know, these guys got in the NBA to make some money, to get their family out of poverty. And you robbing them of that, Kyrie, Irving, and Steven Jackson. Y'all forget that if there was no NBA, y'all wouldn't be having this opportunity to make this kind of money. Are y'all forgetting that shit? You know what they say, what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you? Next time you get a plate, ain't gonna be a lot on that plate. It ain't gonna be a lot on that plate if this thing continues to go the wrong way. The NBA gonna say, this ain't gonna be a players league no more. We need to cut that shit out. We need to save money. Owners gonna be like, nah, we're not giving y'all motherfuckers no more max contracts. Can't do that. They might even have to shorten the NBA season permanently just to make the money that they lost. Might turn into a college basketball season. 35 games and then you gotta play in the tournament. Like, I don't wanna watch that crap. It is very important for the NBA to finish this season. George Floyd or not, it's very important that the NBA finish this season. Like, I understand where you coming from, Steven Jackson. Trust me, I do. I truly do. But pushing this narrative is the wrong thing to be pushing. You don't need the whole NBA to be out there supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and George Floyd. You don't. Half the league is already sitting at home. Why you not calling them dudes? Why you ain't calling on the dudes that's sitting at home? I don't understand that shit. Kyrie, you not even playing. You and Kevin Durant not even playing. And you talking about, oh, we shouldn't resume. We shouldn't resume the season. Like, dude, I don't know who to believe. You know, Rick Bucher and Chris Broussard, two knuckleheads who had nothing but wrong information on the whole Kawhi Leonard fiasco. Kawhi Leonard ain't tripping. Kawhi Leonard like, look, I won the championship last year. If y'all want to play, I'm ready to play. Kawhi Leonard is like, I'm going up doing my workouts. Same thing with Paul George. I'm doing my workouts. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying in shape. But you have some people on the Clippers like Lou Williams speaking out now. Like, bruh, Lou. Doc Rivers wants these guys playing. I already know once the season starts, Lou Williams gonna have his ass out there on that court because he gonna want that damn paycheck. You got guys like George Hill speaking out. I could have been George Floyd too. Anybody black on that day in Minneapolis could have been George Floyd. So don't start with that bullshit. Don't start with that pity party argument. I could have been George Floyd. I could have been George Floyd. You think the NBA would have stopped if it was me? You think Steven Jackson would have called on the NBA to stop the restart if it was me? No, he wouldn't have. You think Kyrie Irving would have got on there and had 200 plus players on the phone talking them out of resuming the season if it was me? There's been plenty of other black people that have been hurt, killed, mistreated by police officers before the riots, during the riots, before the protests, during the protests. So let's just be smart about what we're doing and the narratives, and be smart about the narratives we trying to push, especially when it comes to the sports world. Some people just tired of seeing this shit on TV and the news. They want to see something else. But y'all trying to use it. The NBA is going to be a distraction. No, the NBA won't be a distraction if all the players are going to be interviewed, speaking on the social injustice and inequalities for black people. They're going to talk about it. They're going to use the platform to speak their voice. They're going to talk about these things. They're going to bring up these issues. They're going to give us awareness. They're going to take a knee. They're going to wear shirts. There's no need for NBA players to be out there protesting. Finish the fucking season.